You're now listening to the Zod Drea podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Zod from the Zod Drea podcast, and I'm here at the DNC Forum, where we're going to speak to a few people who are running for DNC Vice Chair and some other positions. Now, what's up right now is the chair position. So, I mean, we're talking about some of the big positions that are going on for the DNC. So they're going to do a lot of changes. Secretary, Vice Chair, and some of the other things. So come on, take a ride with me and let's see what people are talking about here at the DNC and what changes they want to make after this Trump victory. All right, everybody, here I am again, Zod here with Lorna Johnson running for the DNC Vice Chair position. This is a major position now, and I just want to know what kind of changes do you want to have for the Democratic National Committee as well as the entire Democratic Party as we move forward into the Trump administration?
Oh, I think it is important for inclusion, and diversity is the main key, and it should not just be a slogan, but we got to make sure it is real, that people's voices are being heard and everybody is at the table.
Perfect. And where do you come from? And also, where does your experience from where you come from make you the best candidate for this position?
Okay, I am Lorna Johnson, I'll say, and I was born in Jamaica, so I'm a Jamaican born of Cuban descent. And so as an immigrant coming here to this country, not having much, and to be where I am today, I know what it feels like to be ignored and not heard. I know what it is like to not feel like you're a part of something. And so that is what I want to bring back to the Democratic Party. A lot of young people feel alienated. They feel like their voices are not being heard. And Maya Angelou said it best. She said, people will forget about the things you do. People will forget about the things you say, but they'll never forget about the way you make them feel. And there's a lot of people that are feel disenfranchised. They feel that their voices are not being heard. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I met a young man. His name was Jonah, who happened to be white. And Jonah said to me, Lorna, I really appreciate you because you listen to me. A lot of people shrug me off and say, I am young and I don't know much. But Jonah is a brilliant young mind. And with that, we lost a lot at the poll last year because a lot of people feel that their voices were not heard. So that's why I'm here. I want to make sure that people's voices are heard. And also I've worked on the National Finance Committee. I've worked nationally and internationally. I've worked overseas with the likes of Anna Wintour, Tom Ford, and Gwyneth Paltrow to raise millions of dollars for the Democratic Party. And I want to make sure that I am one of the vice chairs so that we can continue to raise money, and these monies can be used locally on the ground so that we can, meet and get to the right people that needs it most. To get people out, to get people involved. We also need to make sure that we get to the gubernatorial level, the mayoral level, your city councilman. We want to get everybody involved, everybody at the table, so that everybody can feel heard and be able to participate.
Now, the one thing about this, talk about the disenfranchised, black women in this country voted, I believe, 93% for Hillary Clinton in the Democratic, election. So they came out and they supported. They're the ones who actually supported the most. White women came and voted for Trump, 53%. Now, as a black woman, how do you feel that you will be able to get the white women back into the Democratic Party's good graces to where they don't vote for somebody like Trump in another election?
I don't know that we need to just say get this sector versus that sector. We really need to get everyone, and we need to be engaged with people at all levels at an early stage, not only during the election time, but to engage them now, whether it's in the churches, whether it's at the schools, whether it's, like I said, get involved with each government level, whether it's your state assembly. They have their core people. The Chamber of Commerce. I've worked as president of the Chamber of Commerce in my community. And again, it's all about how you make people feel. I had people got people to sign document to raise their taxes in my little community so they could feel safer. So it's about how you make people feel that they will do things or not do things. If they feel inclusive and feel that you're really genuine and sincere, they're going to listen. They're not going to run away from you during the election time. You can't be just coming to you to ask you for money, to ask you for things only during the election time. I have to make you feel like a somebody every day.
Well, Lorna Johnson, thank you for your input, and congratulations on your nomination of going into the DNC chair, because it's a big position and you've got a lot of work ahead of you, but congratulations and good luck to you.
Thank you very much. And like I said, once again, I've worked in the inner city in the underserved community of East LA. I was appointed by President Obama to the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. I've dined at the White House. I know how to bring people together. We need to be connected, we need to have inclusion, and we need to know how to raise money.
And where can we find you online?
LornaMaeJohnson.com.
There we go. All right, thanks, guys. This is a great interview.
Johnson, May spell Lorna, M-A-E, Johnson.com. Lorna, M-A-E, Johnson.com.
All right, make sure you get that spelling right, okay? All right, we'll talk to you later. Hey, what's up? This is Zod from the Zod Drea podcast, and I am standing here with my man Michael Blake. Michael Blake is running for the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. And this is a big deal, see, because we're going through changes right now in the DNC, and this is one of the people who is going to make that change. So I'd like to welcome you here, and thank you for coming to Arizona. And, please just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from and what you're going to do for the DNC.
Well, I'm first excited that it's much warmer here than on the East Coast right now, so we're grateful for that. So, Michael Blake, I'm a current assembly member in New York. My second term, I represent the South Bronx. And we're running for vice chair, Democratic National Committee, specifically to do three different things. Number one, build our bench. We have to get more Democrats elected to local office, making sure it's state rep, city council, school board, and making sure people are part of this process and being excited about it. Number two, what do we do to strengthen our party? We need to have more media training, making sure that we have more surrogate placement in the states so that people can feel invested all the time. And then number three, how do we embrace our future? We have to have an economic message because everyone needs a job and want to talk about jobs, but we can't toss out our base. Communities of color and women and millennials and LGBT, all our different communities have to feel empowered a part of this. So our vision for the campaign is leadership for tomorrow, and that's why we're running. And we're excited. We have support all across the country. We're building something special right now. Michael Blake for DNC.com. People can see, they can learn about us. But for the people of Phoenix, people of Arizona, we want you to know, as a person of color, someone who grew up in the Bronx, someone who's a child of immigrants, my family's from Jamaica, that I'm here to fight for people. This is my everyday experience, and you need people that are going to fight for us right now as we're rebuilding the party, and that's why we're asking for support of the DNC members when we get to the election in February.
And that's beautiful. Now, the election is February 23rd.
So the 23rd to the 26th is the winter meeting in Atlanta. The election itself will be February 25th. We'll be electing the chair, then 5 vice chairs, a secretary, treasurer, and finance chair. And so we're running for one of the vice chair positions, specifically the male vice chair position. In the bylaws, it says that 3 of the 4 at-large vice chairs need to be opposite gender of the chair. So if the chair is a male, gets elected, then you recognize that there'll be one of those spots. 4 spots would be for a male candidate potentially. And so that's what we're running for. And we want to provide an opportunity and really change the game.
Perfect. And obviously in this past election, which surprised a lot of people because we really did believe that Hillary would have more than likely been the president at this point. Donald Trump, unfortunately for the country, I should say, had won. But do you see any type of a flip in some of the other states, maybe in the future, where we will be able to, as Democrats, reach out using your position, using the DNC position, but be able to reach out a little bit more, not just in the urban communities, but some of the white communities, especially where the white females had come out to vote 53% for Trump, but where we'll be able to get some of them back to see that they will vote in their best interest?
No question. Look, you recognize that 20% of black men didn't vote for the Democratic candidate, that 9% of white women didn't vote for the Democratic candidate, that the union household turnout was low since 1980. When you look at the Latino vote, anywhere between 25 to 29% going for Trump. We need to do something different. People need to feel empowered. They need to feel respected. The communities, our communities need to feel that you're not just going to come to our community 3 months before an election, that you're going to be consistently involved in building that relationship. And so that's part of the reason why we're running. I want to say, look, I represent the South Bronx. The Bronx is the most diverse county in America, according to the census. 89.7% likelihood that any two people at random be a different ethnicity. So we want to be engaged in that way. We want people to be excited in that way, and to feel that this is a party that welcomes you. And equally, for us to understand that if we're going to be about that, then we have to demonstrate it all the time, And so, like I said, my family's from Jamaica. I grew up in the Bronx. We're here in Arizona now. But this is being engaged and demonstrating all ways. So, mi nombre es Michael Blake, assemblista para el Distrito 79. Gracias a todos, el candidato para Demócrata. Yeah, I didn't know a brother could speak Spanish as well, You're
doing your thing.
You got to keep that engagement there. And this is where we're at right now. This is demonstrating something different. And so when we talk about leadership for tomorrow, that's not a phrase, that's a mindset.
All right, we are back at the Zod Drea podcast, and I am here with my man, Robert Branscomb, and he is here with the DNC also. He's a local business owner right here in Phoenix, Arizona? That's correct. All right, and he's here to just kind of, interview a little bit and try and get, pick his mind a little bit on where he finds the DC going in the future. So, Robert, I just want to know and just ask you, where do you see the DNC going from this point forward, considering the blowout we almost had pretty much in November?
Well, first of all, we didn't have a blowout. We got defeated by the Electoral College. The popular vote did go for Hillary Clinton, but we messed up, or we took for granted how the system works. As Democrats, I feel that we speak on a high level because we're educated and we want to appeal to people. But we got to remember there's a lot of people out there who don't understand it, so we got to come to the level. It's not insulting to them, but we have to make sure that they can relate and understand. We have to make sure that they understand what the consequences of elections are, what they need to do to support that, what's going to happen when they don't vote on the local level, state level, and the national level. So as Democrats, we have to go back to our roots. We have to just roll up our sleeves. We have to confront the opposition just like they confront us. But we still need to learn how to work with them. But right now, we just need to work within ourselves to get back together and get some more moxie and stand for the people and let the people know we're standing and fighting for them.
And do you believe that with people of color, I mean, the Democrats are known for having a much more diverse base than the Republicans. Do you find that also, not just on the local level, the national level, I should say, but on the local level, that we are building up that base of electors and people getting more so involved in office positions?
I would like to believe so, but I think that as a community, we need to understand that a lot of people who lived in certain blocked areas of the community, where we can say that we can find a large demographic of African Americans, are leaving that community. So now we don't have that strong voting block as we used to. So now we need to understand that what elects people nowadays is not only voting, but money. So we might not live in that district where the African American may be running for office in your state or in your county, but we can support that person with our dollars. And when people see that the candidates are getting supported with dollars, then that gives them a lot stronger standing in the political process.
So you find it's an economic thing also?
It's very much an economic thing, because that's all what politics is, right? The haves and have-nots, see who can have the right people in office to get what they need for their community or for their lifestyle.
Now, do you find that with the voting block the way it is, especially with people of color and the way that SCOTUS just might be going under a Trump administration, where the voting rights is concerned, where they're trying to pick apart things like that, I think the voting block is going to wind up changing as well, especially for people of color?
Yes, it is. But we got to remember is, why do we have to ratify in the Constitution the Voting Rights Act? Why does it have to go for, do we want to do this again? And that's basically what it is. Like, do we want to get them to vote again? Why is it not a permanent part of the Constitution? And so what we need to do is, not only do we need to vote, we need to address that. We need to go out and protest against that and say, hey, these are rights that were given to us. We worked hard for in the civil rights in the 60s. Why does it have to be ratified every so many years? And so as black people, or people of color in period, we need to be more active and make sure that those rights are still held in with guard, and so we can be successful in doing that stuff.
I mean, it's kind of funny that you said again. Why do these things have to be changed again, considering what Trump's MAGA, Make America Great Again thing is? So it almost seems like messing around with the Constitution things, they're trying to turn back to when things were great for a certain people, for a certain group of people. Do you think at any time in the future there will be things that are great for all of us?
Well, it depends on what period in time that you were trying to refer to as America great. Do we go back to America was in the 1700s during the American Revolution? Okay, it was great for what group of people was it great for? Was it great for America in the early 1920s? Was it great for America in the 50s? Was it great for America, 2000? What period was America great that we have to go back again? That's the first thing we have to address. I think America with the founding fathers, knew that the Constitution was a living document. It wasn't perfect, but you could add to it to seek that perfection. And so we have to continue to believe that America has not gotten to where it's great again, because the promise is that everyone can come to this country and make something for themselves. As African Americans, we are the only non-immigrants to this country outside of American Indians who are already here. We were imported, so we had no choice. We came over here. The rest of the nationalities had a choice of coming to this country. So we always were looking for making America great as far as our interests are concerned. But for those other people and Donald Trump talking about making America great again, that's all cold words.
Nah, you're right. It is all cold words. And you, lastly, as a business owner, where the DNC is and, trying to bring in people of color, trying to get all these people together, do you find that your company would be in jeopardy at all under a Republican rule now that they have the legislative and executive branches? So do you find as a business owner that the Democrats would be able to help you in any way, or do you think that the Republicans are just going to hurt you just too much more?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that we need Republicans. We need Republicans just like we need Democrats, just like you need a mother and a father. You can't just have everything one way. So they bring some certain value to the table just like Democrats do. But I think we're all in jeopardy of policies when you have a president who has interest outside of the United States that he can benefit from. So the thing that concerns me most is the economy. I'm in the insurance industry. People paying for a promise, because that's basically what insurance is, and it's one of the first things that they cut out because it's not something that they think that puts food on the table and keep the lights on. So that does concern me. But I believe that we can get together. We got to learn how to work across the aisle with the Republicans, because we're all Americans, we're all people first. And then we got to recognize after that what our different beliefs are so we can continue to move forward.
My man, Robert Branscomb. Robert here, giving all kinds of knowledge, information on his life, the DNC and everything, and we just appreciate you, brother, for speaking with us.
I appreciate you having me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod.
And I'm Drea.
And we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
I see a pattern. So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye!
Really don't feel that there is a difference. And people who voted for this man don't see a difference either. They don't see a difference between Cuban and Mexican. They don't see a difference between Argentinian and Mexican. They hear Spanish and...
This way, interracial relationships have been going on in America for a long time.
Since the beginning.
Right. Like there's no way that you can stop, two people from getting together.